Africa has a problem with counting votes. In Africa, everybody wins the election. In Africa, nobody loses an election. In other parts of the world, they can have voters in 50 million, in hundreds of millions, but in Africa, our voters never get past 10 million. But for some reason, when we are called upon to count our votes, we never can count the votes. This is an African disease, the inability to count votes. Africans elect the leaders that they deserve. When they are given the vote to vote, they are in the habit of electing thieves. And once they have elected the thieves, they expect the thieves to behave like angels. When the people do not know what they want, the government they create is nothing but a confederacy of fools. In the continent of Africa, we now think that periodic elections is what democracy is. That is not democracy. We have perfected the art of manipulating democratic processes. In every African country where there is or where there are elections, people are scared. So election is not just a regular process of determining who is going to be in charge of affairs. It threatens the nation because it is life and death. Because politics has become the shortest avenue for material aggrandizement. Those who win the elections are not necessarily the ones who win the election, the ones who are announced to have won the elections in many African countries. That is why people engage in cutthroat competition, and throats are actually cut in pursuit of political power. And that, in my view, undermines development. How many of you remember in 1980s when they came here and told us the solution to the African problem is multi-party politics? And we believed. We formed parties. In the Democratic Republic of Congo at one time, there were 233 of them. We formed them. We started holding elections. Then we discovered that in Africa, we can hold elections. You can have the highest number of votes, but he who is announced the winner is the winner, the number of votes notwithstanding. We discovered that. Then we are asking ourselves, what can we do? If this foreign culture has failed to solve our problems, we thought that when we regained independence using other people's culture, our education would help us. Today, we have many graduates from our many universities, but yet we can't solve our medical problems. In Uganda, it is only those who cannot afford medical attention in Europe or India or Dubai or South Africa who go to Murago.
I really worry when I still hear people thinking that elections, whether I am a candidate or whether I show that this is a better candidate or is another candidate we should support, whether they think that candidate will cause the changes we are talking about. It's not possible because the level of capture of the state. First of all, Mr. Museveni, whom we want to change, and his family rule, did not come to power by election. He has not stayed in power by election. He has stayed in power because he has guns, and he uses those guns to terrorize everybody. That's how he came to power, by guns. He has stayed in office using guns. His family has power not because they are elected. No. You know, Muhoozi, who is now parading himself as the successor,
yes,
is doing so, breaking the law very vagrantly. You know, is still in uniform of UPDF, getting a salary of UPDF, and then I guess another one as an advisor to his father, and now leading a political party, all in violation of the law, and nobody can touch him. He holds rallies, we can't. And this one who is saying, come to the election. If I cannot hold the meeting now, if I cannot come and hold the meeting, the other day we were trying to hold the meeting, we were locked up at home. So how do you expect that in that environment you will go to the election and that election will say, you know, people have voted for change and the change will come? It won't. If we want change in this country, let me say it for the 1,000th time, the only way we shall have change in Uganda to get the Uganda we want is through a revolution, not an election. We must carry out a revolution. We must scoop all this mess and get it by the side. A revolution, popular revolution. The people of Uganda must, and that's what I was being sued for, that I am, that this is incitement to violence, that I was asking people to rise up and cause change. That's what you must do. I am prepared to answer in court. I can see, yes, you know, transition, not succession. We must transit from gun rule to people rule. That's what, and that transition won't come without a fight. We must fight for it. Not with the guns this time, we advocate. But if we rise up, all of us, and say, no, we want better education, we want better health, we want better roads, we want the power to use our money to serve us, not money to go to State House and be used by Mr. Museveni the way he wants, as happens now. You know, that will take a revolution. So, I am not coming to you to seek your vote, because you have no vote. You don't have power to choose. That vote is not a piece of paper they give you. Vote is your voice and effect of it. You don't have it. So I'm coming to you to ask you to organize and we carry out a revolution in this country. That's the bottom line. We must have a revolution. And the earlier, the better. Because if we don't act in a timely way, we will become weaker and weaker from all these machinations of lack of knowledge, lack of health, lack of money. We will become weak and weak until we are no longer able to liberate ourselves. And that's how societies become extinct. We shall become extinct, because even now people are dying everywhere in the banana plantations. There are burials even today of people who shouldn't have died, who just were betrayed by the absence of public health care. And so the earlier we really get this clarion call for a revolution, the better for all of us.
Welcome back, family. Now, PLO Lumumba is asking question: who elected you? Who elected you? Because when you listen to the people of Uganda, they are all saying that they never elected Museveni. When you listen to the majority of the people are calling the name of Bobby Wine. So when you go to the side of General Museveni, he is claiming that he is being loved by the majority of Ugandans, and even the number of the votes that he got is not matching from what he expected, because he expected much than even the one that was announced. So I remember this happens in the country of Kenya once upon a time when Dr. William Ruto was trying to vote for the election against Raila Amolo Odinga the late. And when you came to Kenya those days, everyone was saying that he never voted for Ruto, but Ruto got the highest number of election. So this means that in Africa you're having a problems automatically, just like PLO Lumumba has said that in Africa we are having a problem, and this problem is like a disease. We are not able to count our votes. We are not able to get what we want. We know that this is what we got, but now who is announcing this? The one who is who expect to get what he deserves? Because when you take a look of all that's happening in Africa, it's like the same thing. Because every time in Africa we are holding election, the same thing is happening. We're experiencing massive distractions, killings, people being abducted, people losing life mercilessly and in large number. So this is something that is being spread across Africa, and it's like African leaders are doing the same. I think the same thing. So when you hear people shouting the names of other leaders, but the same leaders that they are shouting, they cannot be able to have them as their leaders. They can't manage to be leaders, but they are being called leaders. So what is happening, and who is counting these votes? And after that, they never ended there. They never end things there, but they continue disrupting things, causing violence, causing crisis. Now take a look, for example, in the country of Uganda today. Museveni was announced as the winner, but a lot has been a lot has been going on. They're still raiding the house of Bobi Wine, the chief opposition leader. The opposition leader himself flee the country. He's nowhere to be found, and nobody knows where he is. His family is not in peace. His supporters are not in peace, because you can be taken away anytime, and that is what has been happening in Africa. That's why we always come here out to speak about this, because if we sit down and watch things happening like this, then the same is going to happen in every country in every season of election. So I just wanted to present you the videos of PLO Lumumba, because he's speaking something which I think as Africans we need to listen, and we need to act over it. We need to think more about this, because we are the only people who can bring the change that we need. Because those politicians that we're watching, they never have anything. They don't have anything of our interest. As long as they're occupying their offices, they're having what they want, that's all they need. So it's our responsibility as Africans to stand up and to criticize all that's happening, being done by the politicians, because just like PLO Lumumba said that he don't even recognize them as leaders, because they don't have the title of leaders, but they are only having the title of politicians. And a politician and a leaders are very total different people, because a politician is someone who is who is having his own interests and agendas, but not the agenda of the people. But we are having leaders, the leaders who are so concerned about the life of the people, who are protecting the people, who are doing every possible means to make sure that their people are in peace, and their country are in much development, but no destruction. So all African leaders, is a time that they need to make the best decision to their people before the people make their own decision. As we know, as Africans, that the power belongs to the people. And when people turns out and say that they don't want someone, that's all. And we will get what we want from this. Just like Kizza basically said, that Uganda cannot get a change from politics or from ballot, but from revolution. Now, this means that for the entire African continent, we need to get revolution for us to get liberation and get what we want. May be blessed, Richie From. Let me have your views in the comment section as we continue discussing this on the next episode, and be blessed.